Everyone's taking their shirts off for these pre and post game shows. Should we join?
Yeah, sure. Ready?
All right, let's do it.
We really taking the shirts off?
You want to?
No.
All right.
I mean, I'm good. I'm good considering the screen is like above the chest area and or below the chest area, and you can't really see anything else below that. Wait, it's cut off. I mean, in the upper chest area, and you can't see anything below that. Like that's where things get a little. But
I hear you. Same situation going on with me. How about we wait for a day where we're both feeling pretty good about ourselves and we're a little more tan?
I think we could do that. We just have to rip them off, though. We can't just take them off. We'd have to.
Or maybe it's our next punishment.
Just to do it shirtless?
Here's the thing. I know that we've been doing the hot sauce for a while now, and I like doing it because I can handle it. I don't really, suffer on stream. It's the after effect. It is, just to go a little detail, a little story time with Derry P here. Walking to Bart, get myself a nice protein shake on the way to Bart, and that ignited something in my stomach where on the way to Bart, I was like, oh boy, what do I do here? Do I go back home and I'm late for work and the whole process of, the day is thrown off because I have to poop? Yeah. Or do I go to a Bart bathroom, which is disgusting, but I did, and it was gross, and that's what happens after these hot sauce challenges for your boy. So I leave it up to you, Steven. Should we come up with an alternate thing? Should we take our shirts off? Should we do what Pablo Tattletale Torre and Mila Kunis did? Mila Kunis, my God. Mila Kunis. and do smelling salts, because it actually looks pretty fun. And probably we have a way more focused podcast, like we were on cocaine. What do you think?
Well, we did it. We had the idea or Jesse had the idea at the start after George Kittle made that whole big deal about the smelling salts, and when the NFL struck down upon it with the rules. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. It would take a little more creativity, but I think we could do it.
Okay, let me get my hands on some smelling salts, but I mean, I can change it up with the hot sauce. It's just, God, it is a problem the next day.
Yeah.
But maybe shirtless is the way to go for a time we want to do it.
Yeah, I think shirtless could work. We're just going to be shirtless.
Yeah, the shame, the humiliation.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't feel too much shame in that.
No, I mean, whatever. But
I get the tank top. I'm one step away.
Yeah, there you go. I need to get myself a little nice tank top. But
have one?
No, I don't. I don't have a tank top. I used to back in my days when I was. And I wouldn't say I went through like a Guido phase by any means, but like, I was working out, going to college, cut the sleeves off, pulled a Belichick on one of my shirts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Speaking of him,
pretty cool.
We'll get to him later. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Popper, we're coming to you on a Saturday morning, and we'll talk about the Thursday night game where the G-men routed the Eagles. Talk a little bit about older coaches in the NFL and college, Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick. Derek Carr can sympathize with Geno Smith. We'll do our picks. We'll finally get to some. We did a little bit of last week, but Jackass of the Week and finally get to some pop culture catch up. But before we do all that, Steven, epic game last night in baseball. 15 innings between the Detroit Tigers, Seattle Mariners. It was awesome. Maybe one of the best baseball playoff games of all time. But we can all agree, after a certain point, you should have a ghost runner.
You think so?
No.
I think so in the regular season. Like I don't like the ghost runner coming out there as soon as the 10th inning starts. Like I think if it makes it to the 12th, it's like, all right, let's give one of these teams a little advantage here. Or we'll start the road team with the runner on second and then go from there. In the playoffs, no. Playoffs, no. Regular season, yes. I think they need to alter that rule a little bit. I hate the ghost runner immediately there on second.
Yeah, I mean, maybe ghost runner on first I'd be okay with in the regular season.
Even I don't know. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm not going to act like I'm a baseball purist by any means. Like, I think that when you alter the rules, you're doing it for a mainstream audience that doesn't really watch baseball to begin with. But Bill Plaschke last night was kind of a killjoy. and I'm not going to, like, I I thought about doing, putting him as my jackass of the week, but I'm like, you know what? I never really want to make somebody a jackass for their takes. Like if you do it in a certain way, then I'm like, okay, you're just trying to get a rise out of people. But Bill Plaschke was just kind of being, negative, when everybody was having a good time with this game. Yeah. Bill Plaschke last night says classic baseball, more classic. Sorry, the font's kind of small here. Classic baseball, more classic bore. Bunch of guys swinging from the heels. Hold on, blow it up, Steven. I can't see this.
Well, this is as blown up as I can make it, but I'll read it for you since it's right here. And it's also just like my literal job to read things. More like can I read? Classic baseball, more like classic bore. A bunch of guys swinging from their heels, mindlessly trying for home runs. This is why they should keep the ghost runner rule in during the playoffs. It leads to better baseball.
No.
I understand that take, but that's not the way I was watching it last night. I'm watching it just hanging on every pitch, and yeah, every guy's swinging for home runs, but I assume Bill Plaschke's watched some baseball. Have you not watched any in the last 2 years? It's all guys do is hit home runs. You got to get used to it. Like and I actually even had a thought yesterday that some of these guys were just looking for base hits, and I thought the pitchers were just outstanding, and like even going to that Dodgers game, even game 4, like watching Roki Sasaki battle in the last 3 innings from the 8th, 9th, and 10th. And then obviously it went into extras, and we know what happened with the Phillies pitcher. But I don't think a ghost runner would have solved it. I thought last night was perfect for baseball. Like I thought it was perfect. It's a Friday night. No one has anything else to watch except for maybe you want to go watch the WNBA finals, but that series was pretty much over because the Mercury had a bunch of injured players and the Aces were already up 3-0. It was not a matter of if, but when the Aces were actually going to win that series. And hell, had the format been what it was before, which was a best of 5, then the Aces would have won earlier in the week. But I thought it was perfect. Friday night, no one else really watching anything. Maybe someone watching some small market college football that had a game on. I don't know if there was one last night. But to have it go as late as it did, everyone had their eyes on that game. So I thought it was perfect. And even though Plaschke may be one of the few who has that take, that's fine. That's personally not what I saw last night. What I saw was just a fun extra baseball game that we got attached to an elimination do or die game 5. I thought it was just really exciting. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare where baseball is on the center stage to captivate the sports viewing audience on a Friday night. And it was awesome. I enjoyed every second of that game. I'm okay with the ghost runner in some capacity during the regular season. I would have been fine if they didn't add it. But if you want to speed up the game, I totally understand that. The pitch clock, I don't even think about anymore. I like faster games, although I don't like it when we're preempted on KMBR and we get a faster start on a show on Dirty Work, but whatever.
Yeah. Here's the thing with that game, though. The Mariners deserve to win because of what A.J. Hinch did with the Tigers, and that was taking Tarek Skubal out in the 6th inning. We saw it back with the Rays and Dodgers, 2020, I think that was the year.
Yep.
It was that season.
With Blake Snell?
Where Kevin Cash took Blake Snell out into the 7th and just didn't let him go, and it came back to bite them in the ass. Like, had the Tigers won that game, I was just like, oh, come on. The baseball gods got to strike down here because Tarek Skubal was just on fire. And I think if there's any purest thing that chapped my hide, that yucked my yum, that put a little mayonnaise in my coffee,
Ew.
It was
going Will Levis there.
AJ Hint taking Skubal out after the 6th inning. Like, leave him in. He has 13 Ks. He's dealing.
I know, Steven. I'm with you. That's the old school way of doing things, and I wish we saw more of Skubal, but isn't that the norm now?
Well, not necessarily. And it wasn't with the Giants. Like, they actually ate up a lot of innings with their starting pitchers, whether it was the right or wrong decision, because a lot of the times it felt like Melvin left them out there too long. But this did not feel like a situation where the Tigers needed to go to the pen. It just did.
I'm with you on that one.
I know he had 99 pitches, but
I hate the mentality these days to get your pitcher out when he's crossed a certain threshold. But whatever, like they have the science. It goes into load management and all this sports analytics these days. So yeah, they lost the game, but I wanted to see the Mariners win to begin with.
Yeah.
As far as Plaschke's take, look, he could have that take. I know a lot of people do have that take, but I respect Bill Plaschke. He's been doing this for a long time and been on Around the Horn. Just say you don't like baseball then. Like I know he does. Like he's kind of a front runner. He's all about the Dodgers and the Lakers and the Rams and USC football. So if there's something that goes against them, he's going to defend those teams. But when it comes to like something that is boring to him, he's gonna be like, yeah, it's just dumb. So that's a sports writer take. I don't think many former baseball players had that take last night. It was fun. It was fun to watch, and yeah, everyone's everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's why we call this podcast Just Your Opinion, man. But if you thought last night was boring, then you don't like baseball. That's the bottom line.
And you know what? The Mariners did. I mean, the baseball gods did strike, because Pat's absolutely right. When the Mariners manager ended up pinch hitting for the dude who's been like a minor league journeyman for the most part. I almost said minor league German. Minor league journeyman for the most part. And then he ends up getting that hit when he's never even done that in the playoffs. So
minor league German.
Unreal game, dude. Unreal. So as far as the Bill Plaschkes of the world, give me Bill Plaschke, but without the P and without the sh. I'm all about Bill Lasky, baby.
Oh, tree?
yeah, just take out the sh and the P.
Dude.
Bill Lasky.
I was listening to post game with Bill Lasky one night, and some guy was just shitting on the Giants. And I guess this guy's called in before. It just cracked me up, where he gave a different name and was giving a take, and then in the middle of it, Bill goes, "Wait a minute. I know who this is. You can't fool me, you imposter. Get him off the line. I told you before. Don't call." That's incredible. It was a long night. It was another bad Giants loss. Yeah. So what do you want to see now? Do you want to see the Mariners? Do you want to see the Blue Jays? Obviously, you don't want to see the Dodgers, but between the Brewers and Cubs, who do you want to see advance?
Oh, I want to see. I want to see the Mariners pull through. I really do. I just think they're a fun underdog team, but the Blue Jays are that same way. I really don't mind in the American League, but if you had to make me pick one, I would rather choose the Mariners to move on to the World Series. But in the National League, between the Brewers and Cubs, I think the Cubs are just they're fun, but they're such a boomer bust team. I feel like the Brewers are just consistently like old school in that they don't hit a ton of homers, even though I think they did to clinch the series, to clinch their last series. So I'd rather see the Brewers move on, because I think the Brewers would just be I think they would give the Dodgers a little more of a run for their money. I think they would put a little more pressure on the Dodgers. I think the Cubs are just
this season.
They're just hell bent. The Cubs are on just trying to. I mean, they play a little bit of small ball, but for the most part, feels like they're a boom or bust team. So yeah, I'd take the Brewers over them.
Yeah, for me, I like the storyline of Craig Counsell going up against his former team, but it would be nice with the passing of Bob Uecker if the Brewers advance. I want to see the Blue Jays go. Look, the Mariners, it's a nice story. Just the A's fan in me, I don't need to see them go to the World Series. It's very nice that they have advanced to the ALCS for the first time since 2001. But if we're talking about a team that can actually beat the Dodgers, I think it's the Blue Jays. I don't think anybody else can really at this point.
Really?
Yep.
You don't think the Brewers can, or the Cubs?
I'm not going to act like I know very well, but I think if we got to a World Series and it's home field advantage in Toronto, I think that's going to be in Toronto's favor. And that'd be awesome to see them win. Everything with Vlad Jr. this offseason, him getting the contract.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I think the Brewers, could possibly beat the Dodgers, but I think the Dodgers just have too much firepower. And as far as that clinching game, go ahead.
Derek, here's the thing. Is like you can have all the firepower you want, but you also got to play smart baseball. And it feels like the Phillies just did not. I thought actually the Phillies had a better lineup than the Dodgers, just with the production they were getting. But they didn't, for one, they didn't produce, but also they made boneheaded mistakes whenever they were out on the field. And then with the Blue Jays and the Yankees, well, the Blue Jays made them look like the little brother. as they kind of have through the latter part of the season in the American League East. But to beat the Dodgers, I just think you got to just play a clean game, because they are like, one thing that we always just credit the Dodgers for how much they spend, how expensive everything is, that they just buy players and they're automatically good. But one thing we learn every playoffs is that they are just a sound fundamental team. Like, they don't make a lot of terrible plays. Like, a lot of the decisions are the right ones, not a lot of questionable decisions. I think they ran like didn't they run the perfect wheel play against the Phillies earlier on in this series? Like, they just do all these little things very well. And then you end up getting the big moments from like a Shohei Ohtani or I don't know who had the big hit against, or even the one against the Phillies. Like, it ended on what could have been just a routine play to first base, but instead the pitcher panicked.
Damn Kirkring. That's going to be a name that we always remember. Like, not a great player, but it's like, remember when Kirkring blew it?
Kirkring.
Damn Kirkring. All right. It's a little baseball segment. Let's talk a little football. Talk about Thursday Night Football, where the Eagles got trounced by Big Blue, the G-Men, with Jackson Dart and Cam Skattebo. And I'm not ready to say I was wrong about Cam Skattebo. He's definitely better than I thought. But I don't know. He's still like giving me Peyton Hillis vibes or Mike Allstott vibes, where
he still is.
Exactly. Like 98 yards, 3 touchdowns, ripping his shirt off with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Total meathead. And that's kind of what you expected, like, coming from ASU. He's going to be a guy that gets a powerful, 5-yard run every now and then. Not every now and then. That's like his main thing. Like, he may bust a run for 20 yards every now and then. But I just still see kind of like a fullback that, his best play so far was blocking the way for Jackson Dart on his touchdown run 2 weeks ago. But the story here,
best play?
I think so far.
You think that was his best play out of all the runs that he had, the 3 touchdowns that he had in the Eagles, one that didn't even count? You're saying that a block for a quarterback is the best play that he's had this season?
It showed his athleticism.
Not the one where he bounced outside and completely trucked an all-pro and Zach Bond?
I mean, that's just him being more powerful than a linebacker.
We have different definitions on what's considered a best.
I don't know. I was just trying to give some nuance to Cam Skattebo.
I think you're just adding to what makes him a really good player, and what makes him, maybe a fullback / running back. But I think another point that you're trying to make, though, and I think we're going to keep going back to it, Kyle Brandt can't be just getting on his soapbox because he went on a monologue about how you shouldn't compare him to these other players. I'm sorry. He is exactly like those other players. When I see him running the football, I automatically think Peyton Hillis. I just do. All right?
And that's fair.
Nothing you could do to stop me. There's nothing on NFL Network you could say, Kyle Brandt.
Well, is he still going back to this?
I don't think so.
Okay, it was a one-time thing, and I think he was kind of being tongue-in-cheek a little bit, but also he got to know Cam Skattebo, so he's like, leave my guy alone, all right? Let him bash his helmet against a brick wall.
It was also this weird thing where he felt like hey, we're just going to compare a white guy to a white guy, and it's lazy.
No, but that is his skill set. Okay,
that's what he looks like.
Yeah, I mean, he's better than Carson Steele a year ago with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But okay, if you want me to give you a better comparison that's going to wow Kyle Brandt? Kind of reminds me of Zach Crockett a little bit. Nothing spectacular. Just you get him on the goal line, he rushes for touchdowns. But he's going to break a big run? No. That's what I think of Cam Skattebo.
Right. Well, I mean, he's not going to be explosive play guy, but I think what he's done is just given them a little bit of an edge. Like, I think he's done more than just add something to running back. He's given something Giants fans to get a little excited about, something to get them to watch every week. I think he's given NFL fans a reason to look forward to watching some New York Giants football. I think both him and Jackson Dart have completely revived them. And I also think, like, this could be the start of something, and I don't know what that thing is, but the start of something with the Eagles, where they look back at this game and they realize this was either the turning point or this was the point of the season where, okay, we really need to change some things if we're losing by 17 to that Giants squad.
Yeah, I'll get to the Eagles real quick, but just go back to Cam Scatterboo. To me, he is the running back version of Tommy DeVito, where it brings the fan base together, but it's going to be short-lived. Like the long-term success of this team.
What makes you think that it's going to be short-lived, man? Come on.
Because I just can't see this guy being the long-term answer at running back. You need a game changer. Like this guy could be good every now and then as a goal line back, but like to be your main butter and egg man, that's not Cam Scatterboo. Now, for what they could be for the long haul is Jackson Dart. He looks impressive. Defensively, Brian Burns and Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence. That's going to be how they win games. It's not going to be because it's Cam Scatterboo.
You're doing a Bill Plaschke.
Why?
You are pulling because you're just like crapping all over it. All you're thinking about is he's not going to be the long-term answer. He's fun to watch in the short term. That's what matters right now.
Same thing as Tommy DeVito, where all these New York guys were like, hey, I like that guy, Tommy DeVito. And then he was playing a little longer, and everyone was like, all right, this guy sucks.
Yeah, but we knew he wasn't that good. He was a third-string quarterback who was undrafted, or taken in the 6th round or whatever it was. Cam Scatterboo was drafted in the 4th round. I think it's okay if you want to feel. I mean, I'm not going to totally disagree that I'm not going to sit here and say he is the long-term answer, but he is one of the most fun players to watch in the league right now. He is. Just watch his runs, dude. Go back and watch
If you want to see 5-yard carries, cool.
Yeah, if you want to see people rumbling it, you just said his block was his best play that he's had in this season.
That's the one player I've been like, all right, look at him. Look at him being the lead blocker there. Look at that. Look at that, Cam Scatterboo. Look at you. You little Tom Rathman, you.
It feels like you're
John Ritchie.
John Kuhn? I don't know, man. Sure, he might not be the long-term solution. Maybe even Jackson Dart might not be the long-term solution, but they've injected something into that organization. It's just like a little shot, a little smelling salts, just to get them amped up real quick. I don't know. It could just drastically change moving forward, and we're like, okay, they could just be the flavor of the week. They really could. But you know what? Whatever. It was a fun flavor to watch.
No, I'm with you on that. I mean, as far as the most entertaining thing from the Giants side, wasn't Jackson Dart to me, wasn't Cam Scatterboo, wasn't even their defense or Brian Burns getting 2 sacks. It was Brian Dable being pissed off at his training staff and the neurologist for the Giants. So if you didn't see in the game, Jackson Dart gets dinged up on a play, has to go to the sideline for concussion protocol. And Russell Wilson comes in for the 3rd down play and skips the ball in the dirt. The entire stadium for the Giants boos Russell Wilson. And that's when Brian Dable, and he's, as Pat H is saying right here, Dable coaching for his job. He goes into the medical tent and says, hey, can we get this guy out of here already? Come on, let's go. And the neurologist comes out. He's like, dude, relax, okay? We're trying to make sure he's okay. And he's like, okay, I'm trying to win fucking games here. Then afterwards, Brian Dable in the press conference is like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that, but, those damn doctors take too long. And then John Mara has to release a statement yesterday saying, nice win, we're very happy, and, we're enthused with Brian Dable and Jackson Dart and everybody, but our coach can't be going into the medical tent to rush this whole process up. So I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious that he was so pissed off that Russell Wilson was terrible that he told his team doctors, hurry the fuck up, and let's get him out here.
Yeah, and the entire Giants fan base just started to boo Russell Wilson off the field. Kind of brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. As far as the Eagles, they are a mess right now, but I don't think it's a disaster like people are making it out to be. I still think they're extremely talented. They are. They have maybe the best running back in all of football and the best wide receiver tandem, but they're not using them properly. The offensive line is not blocking like they used to, and they're banged up a little bit. I think Landon Dickerson didn't even play in this game. But Saquon's just feeling the effects of how the Chiefs game planned him in the Super Bowl. Everybody's now doing that same defensive scheme where they're loading the box and daring Jalen Hurts to throw. Jalen Hurts was electric in the Super Bowl, but let's be honest. Since the 2022 season where he was going to be MVP most likely, had he not got hurt for, 3 games, he hasn't been himself throwing the football. And when he is effective, it's just him throwing 50-50 balls to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. In this game, he was erratic. He had Devontae Smith on a wide open pass that probably would have gone for like a 81-yard touchdown pass. He had A.J. Brown wide open on a slant route that instead he went to the far left to Devontae Smith, and it was picked off. He's just not seeing the field right now. He also makes dumb mistakes where right before halftime, it's third down. He runs the middle of the field, doesn't pick up the first down. It's fourth down. He can't spike the ball, and clock runs out. You get no points out of it. So the problem right now with the Eagles, I think, is the offensive line and Jalen Hurts just not being the guy that we saw in the Super Bowl.
I can agree with that. And that's what they've looked like right now. And then, you have her favorite reporter going and interviewing Lane Johnson after the loss. And,
Christina Anderson,
him saying some things.
Not the result you want tonight. Where do you feel like it slipped away?
Yeah, we're not very efficient offensively. We have times where we have big explosive plays, but not able to capitalize and put it in the end zone. Costly mistakes. And, I feel like, our run game isn't very efficient right now. We're making it, very hard on all phases for us.
Why is that?
I think when you look at it, maybe we're too predictable. Maybe, I think when you look at some of the stuff we did last year, the production isn't matching the talent. So, collectively we got to come together and do better. And so, obviously what we've been doing the first few weeks has been working. And, even the games that we won, it hasn't been as efficient, as we like.
All right. So that was Lane Johnson on the exhibit. But point being, Derek,
gonna give it to you.
Is that?
Oh no, I'm thinking of DMX. I meant to do like an exhibit reference. Yeah.
Good work. We'll move on. But point being, he's talking.
Hit my ride.
He's talking in the same way as it felt like the Eagles were in 2023. After that loss to the 49ers, they said that was just so demoralizing that everything changed after that. And the only reason I'm not going to say it's like that in 2023 is because it's not as late as it is in the season as it was then. There's still plenty of time to turn it around, right? Like I was listening to the Julian Edelman's podcast, and he brings something up where, like, the season's just so long. And when we're at this point, like, I like to think of it as quarters. He said that's how we always thought of it with the Patriots. It's like you got the first quarter of the season where you're really just experimenting with everything. Like, you hope it goes well, and you hope that everything you worked on in training camp is going to translate to the field, but you really can't tell. Then the second quarter of the season, which is kind of where we're at right now, that's a time when you're really starting to get a feel for things, and you're starting to implement certain schemes that work for different players, and you're figuring out what's best for your roster. Then once you get to the last two quarters of the season, that's when it's go time. And the last quarter really is about staying healthy heading into the playoffs and just stacking up wins, as many wins as possible. So I think the fact that this is happening right now in just the second quarter really of the season, I think that's a good thing for the Eagles. I think it bodes well for them being able to turn it around. But my question is, Derek, if Jalen Hurts hasn't looked the same, and it kind of feels like he's the issue, and the offensive coordinator is making things a little too predictable, how can they turn it around? Because it feels like they need almost like a reset, even though they're 4-2.
I mean, that's the thing, though. They are 4-2. It's not like they're 2-4 right now. Like, sure, they gladly would, not. I mean, they're happy where they're at and not trading places with the Giants right now. But yeah, this is a game you would think they would win. But it's on a short week. You're playing a division opponent. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, I guess, with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley having a meeting in the parking lot that A.J. Brown's kind of blowing off like it wasn't that big of a deal. That's the big issue to me right now. It's not anything with Saquon and his numbers diminishing. Like, that's going to happen sometimes. It's the Madden effect. It's the effect of having a 2,000-yard season from a year ago and the offensive line being banged up. Not to mention their defense. They're missing guys. Jalen Carter didn't play in this game with a heel injury. Quinyon Mitchell got banged up in this game. Cooper DeJean got banged up, or maybe it was Reed Blankenship. I can never tell with these white guys, Kyle Brandt, they're picking on, who's it, Kylie Ringo, their second cornerback right now, and their secondary is not amazing. Like, with Darius Slay moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they don't have as strong of a secondary as they used to. But Yeah, it's really the AJ Brown thing. It's the fact that this guy was brought over and was going to be an explosive playmaker, and he has been. But there's times where he has these games where he catches 2 balls for 7 yards, and they still win the game. But he has these weird Twitter posts where he's obviously upset, and nothing's going to happen. Like I know some people, like I saw today, Diana Rossini. She's a great reporter, but she had this report out there that the Eagles have no intention of trading A.J. Brown. But AFC executives think otherwise. Well, why does their opinion matter? It doesn't matter. As long as Howie Roseman says we're not trading this guy, they're not trading him.
Well, Derek, because, I mean, I know Diana Rossini is a great reporter and all of that, but we all know that anytime these reporters use an executive or a GM thinks X, it's just a non-starter. It's just a way to get that out there and to talk about it. My brother's been on a little he's been on a heater this season. Last year it was all about Field Yates. He, for whatever reason, couldn't stand Field Yates' all too positive tweets. It's like easy. He's like writing these soliloquies about certain players and then posting a highlight on them. And then my brother's just like getting mad about it. I don't know why.
It's not as annoying as Jordan Schultz, who it seems like he's friends with the agent of these players. He's like, AJ Brown needs to be fed. It's okay, we get it, buddy. We get it.
But then another thing that my brother's hot on this year, he's gone past the Field Yates thing. I think he took my advice and just stopped following him. What a concept.
Move to a different field.
Just gonna let that sit.
You like that?
All right, and then now it's like just Rossini or Pelissero reporting things that are not reports. Like, who cares? Who cares about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets 3 weeks into the year? Like, who cares about TJ Watt and the contract holdout that was a month ago? You know what I mean? Like, there's different things that'll send me. So I think this is another one of those things. I'm interested. The AJ Brown's, because I'm in my head, like I don't think anything's going to happen. But man, would it be in their best interest to do it though?
No,
maybe not but like, God, he's created such a stink, dude. It's been 2 years of this where it's like, I'm not getting enough targets. And now apparently Devontae Smith is complaining about it. It's just, if you could get something in return that is a serviceable wide receiver and maybe something else of value to help build your team, I would not be too mad at that if I was an Eagles fan. AJ Brown's so good, dude. I'm like, he was a first round pick in fantasy for a lot of people, maybe a second round pick. He was the first wide receiver I took in one of my leagues. I know that. Like, he's uber talented, but he's just out this season. He just doesn't seem bought in at all to whatever the Eagles are trying to sell.
It's not that. I've heard his post-game press conferences. He's very complimentary of Kevin Patullo, their new offensive coordinator. I think he's just down on Jalen, even though they were boys. Like, we've seen the video of them FaceTiming each other when the news broke draft day 2022. And since then, it's been these weird things where Hugh Douglas is doing a radio interview. Not Hugh. It's Brandon Graham, and being like, those guys need to talk it out. It's like something's going on there where it's just as simple as they might be close friends, but A.J. Brown just doesn't have a lot of confidence in Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. And it's kind of telling, too, like after the fact when they won the Super Bowl and A.J. Brown has like a post that's like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. It's like, so what do you care about then? Do you care about winning or do you care about your stats? And that, he may be a selfish player in that regard. But the truth is they are not having success running the football right now. They need to throw to win these games. Like, teams are daring Jalen Hurts to throw, and the defense is winning. So as soon as Jalen Hurts looks like the guy that we saw in the Super Bowl, they'll be right again. I'm not concerned. Like, I don't think it's going to be like 2023 because I really thought it was the coordinators not knowing what they were doing. It was Brian Johnson, the former quarterback coach, who was elevated, and that offense was lost. I thought the offense was basic, a couple of weeks into the season, and they were just getting by. And then the defense, it was Sean Desai with Matt Patricia as like a consultant, and they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then the Niners just broke them. It was one game where the rest of the league had the blueprint on how to beat the Eagles. I don't think it's that simple anymore. I wish Nick Sirianni was a better coach, not just a CEO coach, but a guy that actually, called plays where he can change things up. And that probably will happen. But where I'm with you, Steven, that maybe it could be a downfall for them, their schedule is brutal. Like, I did not plan on them losing these last 2 games at home to the Broncos and in New York. They go to Minnesota coming off a bye. And that Brian Flores defense is a hell of a lot harder to game plan for than the Giants defense. They play the Giants again. I doubt they lose to them twice and get swept by them. They have their bye week. They go to Green Bay. They're home against the Detroit Lions. They go to Dallas. Black Friday against the Chicago Bears. Go to LA to take on the Chargers. Home against the Raiders. Their last 3 games of the season are at Washington, at Buffalo, home again against the Commanders. I still think they're a very talented team. I think they make the playoffs, but it could be the case where they are, the 4th seed, not as high as we thought they were going to be in the NFC, and maybe even a wild card team.
I think we're heading in that direction. But again, it is just we're early on in the season, even though it feels like we're deep into it. There's a lot of football left to be played. But it feels that way. Like I'm not putting them as that team that they're the team to beat in the NFC. Like I'm not putting them up there. That was the talk of the season, right at the start.
Yeah.
Who's going to contend with the Eagles for the NFC? Well, right now, I don't think it's the Eagles that you got to watch out for. I think the Lions are a team to watch out for. Depending on what happens tomorrow, I think with the way Baker Mayfield's been playing, I think the Buccaneers are a team to watch out for. But without Bucky Irving, that's going to be an interesting one. And no Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. But I don't know. This isn't 2018 anymore. Like they could probably survive without those two. 2019.
Packers?
What? Packers are up there. You need to see a little bit more from the Packers, but they're up there too. It's just, I think the conference is a little more open than just saying there's one who everyone else is chasing. And the Eagles definitely aren't that team.
No, I mean, I think it's definitely more competitive than the AFC right now, where the Bills, even though they lost to the Patriots last weekend, it still looks like to me like they are the number 1 team in the AFC. Mm-hmm. And the Chargers are slipping right now. Colts are good. They're probably going to win that division, or the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I got to see more from those 2 teams to actually believe that they can do something in the postseason. I think they are playoff teams, but I don't know if they are contenders really, where they can beat the likes of the Chiefs or the Bills when it really matters. Yeah, right now I don't think you could say the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. I think you have to give that to the Lions with the way they rebounded from week 1. But the Eagles are still really talented. I think that if you go back a year ago, the Eagles were 4-2. They lost some games early on where, remember that game where Saquon Barkley dropped the pass against Atlanta and then Kirk Cousins went down the field and scored? Not to mention they got shellacked in Tampa Bay a year ago. So they lost 2 in a row, might be 3. I don't think it's as, bad as everyone's making out to be, because there's a little element of drama with A.J. Brown. That's just what happens when you're the hunted, when you win a Super Bowl and everyone's gunning for you, and you have little nicks and bruises along the way with your offensive line that was so dominant before. Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. I just don't know if they're going to be as dominant like a year ago. And I will say, I've brought this up before, but it's really annoying how everyone bitches and complains about the tush push now, when a year ago it was celebrated and everyone wanted to keep it. Now, when it's boring on national TV, everyone has to bitch and complain about it.
Yeah, it's annoying. I think they just need to get Saquon more touches too. Not more carries, more touches.
In the passing game as well?
Yeah. Like if they're stacking 8 in the box, then just throw it to them in the flat. Like football doesn't have to be that complicated. Sometimes you just get the ball in the hands of your best player, and Saquon's their best player.
Yeah.
And they haven't done that. I think he had like 14 touches in this game against the Giants. Let me double check that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a little surprised that the offense is not humming like it did a year ago, but that's bound to happen when you change coordinators. I just thought that, the biggest fall from grace was going to be the Lions with their coordinators, and it sounds like, or it looks like, that they may not upgrade it, but they're on par with Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, where the Eagles are struggling offensively, and they, a lot of guys left in free agency and trades for the Eagles on defense. But yeah, as you pointed out, Steven, the 49ers have a golden opportunity this weekend, where now the Eagles are 4-2. The Lions could very well lose in Arrowhead. And if they win their game against Tampa Bay, the Niners could be the number 1 seed, or just, the number 1. Yeah, like the number 1 seed right now, not the number 1 seed when it's all said and done. But they could be 5-1. And where the Eagles schedule is pretty tough. We've been talking about the Niners schedule. It looks easy on paper. You never know. We thought that the Eagles would beat the Giants. The Niners have to go to the Meadowlands in a couple weeks. Niners have to go to Houston. They face the Falcons next weekend. So it looks good on paper, but you never know. But this could be the game where the Niners could separate themselves in the NFC and get their number 1 seed. I still don't think they're as talented, though, as the Lions or the Eagles. Still have to see what happens with the Packers or these other teams. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the Buccaneers. But I think the Niners could be in a good position to get the most wins in the NFC, but I don't know when it's all said and done, given the injuries and their talent level, they can compete with those teams.
Yeah, I think, God, there's a lot at stake tomorrow, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, for both teams, because as much as I'm thinking that for the 49ers, sure, they could get the number 1 seed, but this is where the Buccaneers can finally separate themselves from that team that's just, oh, yeah, well, they're going to win their division because their division sucks, but I'm not expecting much from them in the playoffs. Like, this is a time where, maybe we could start really taking them seriously. Like, I think you can make the argument that Baker Mayfield is playing as well as any quarterback in football right now.
I agree with that.
Like, he going back and watching that game against the Seahawks, I mainly went back to watch just for the wide receiver matchup, just watching every target with Egbuka and Jigba, or Smith and Jigba rather. And God, those guys were just on fire. But one thing that I took away was Baker was just not a lot more on point, because Darnold played very well, but it felt like Baker was just making some unbelievable throws to everyone all over the field. And he's making it work with a fairly depleted roster. Like, you really could make the case he's playing as well as any quarterback in the league, and with as much confidence. Actually, I know Otis Bird isn't in the chat, but Baker said something that made me think of his comment from last week, which was that he's matured now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I haven't matured. I'm just playing better. Like, he's like, I've always had this braggadocio, this moxie. He's just like, when you're not playing well, it's too cocky, it's too arrogant. But when you're not playing well, that's how it is. But when you're actually winning games and throwing dimes, it's moxie, it's competitive fire. He's like, so I haven't really changed from that regard. I'm just playing a lot better than I used to be.
Maybe it's because he was on TV so much with all of the commercials. Hulu has live sports, or the Progressive commercials, and we're all like, he's not that good. And now that he's gone away and on commercials and played better with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're like, all right, maybe he's matured a little bit. But yeah, I agree with that. Like, it made me think otherwise when he called out Steve Wilkes, or what was the thing he posted last week with the fan? And I guess that fan's notorious for being an asshole at Seahawks games, but yeah, I don't think Baker's changed. He's still the same cocky guy. It's not as Johnny Manziel-esque because he's gotten older, I guess.
Yeah. Also, he was a lot more put together than Johnny Manziel was after his college days. But just because he grabbed his nuts at some people, I mean, it's like, all right, come on. But who knows? You're also going to have a little Boomer on Longhorn action this weekend, right? You got a little Alfred Collins going up against old Baker, and then old Trent Williams.
And that's going down in 40 minutes, and I'm not very confident in Arch Manning these days, even though I think some people are down on him, like he's a college bust. Like, let's see next season when people, turn on that.
Yeah, but it's just, don't we do this? We just react to everything.
Of course.
We don't give them time.
That's why I think like the whole thing with the Eagles is ridiculous right now, because like I get it, AJ Brown's acting up, but like let's see what happens next week.
Yeah.
It's a week-to-week league.
Also, like, I do want to play this. I know I'm kind of like we're going all over the place, but in the same vein as Baker Mayfield, Mac Jones, Sam Darnold, hell, I mean, I'm not saying he's at their level, but I think you can even throw Trevor Lawrence in this echelon of quarterbacks, where you really do have to give them a little bit of patience. And I think Liam Cohen, I know it just has nothing to do with anything, I guess. Hey, former Bucs offensive coordinator. So this is staying on topic. Liam Cohen, I thought, had a pretty profound answer on quarterbacks.
That position, and surroundings can kind of
I got a lot of respect for Sam. I don't know him personally, but obviously through Grant and Kevin, and then obviously Sean Surratt being here, having stories, and watching him throw the football. He's very talented. There's a reason why he was a top 5 pick. I remember all the comebacks that he had at SC, and to see guys, so much of playing this position, I think, in this league is timing and circumstance. And there's so many talented guys that people end up saying can't do it, or it doesn't work in that timing and that circumstance. And now look what has happened to him in his career. Baker and him are on the same team and couldn't quite play on that team. So it's just time. So much of it is not giving up on these guys and knowing that as time goes and they accumulate more reps, not just in games, but in practice, calling plays, guys coming from spread systems, no huddle, shotgun, like that whole operation is new. It's different. It's a different mode of operation for those guys. So really cool to see guys like Sam, continuing to get better as they go throughout their career.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty on point. We're just so quick to judge or just wipe away these quarterbacks after a couple of years in the league. I think within Brock Purdy's situation, I thought he was put into a best case scenario where timing and circumstance was perfect. The timing was that he was in a team that was literally a quarterback from reaching the Super Bowl, and the circumstance, well, you have the best offensive play caller in football, and you also have a couple of quarterbacks who don't really make too much of a stink of anything. They're not Ryan Tannehill saying it's not my job to mentor Malik Willis. They actually took Purdy under his wing, and it seems Purdy's done the same with Mac Jones and even Sam Darnold too.
I never had an issue with Ryan Tannehill saying that, though.
You never did?
No.
Why?
Because I remember when that came out and everyone was like, that's so rude of him. And it's like, yeah, it's also the context of the way he said it. I remember Joe Flacco saying something similar about Lamar Jackson. Everybody was like, whoa, come on, Joe. Yeah. And like Brett Favre said the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. I think what the quote was, or I want to say even Roethlisberger said this about Mason Rudolph, was, it's not my job to make them the next great quarterback, but if they ask me about guidance or anything, yeah, I'm going to help them in that regard, but it's not my job to make them the next heir apparent. Steal my job, basically.
I don't know. Is that what Tannehill said? I thought Tannehill just straight up said it's not my job to mentor this guy.
I think that he clarified his comments. I want to say he clarified his comments later on, though.
Yeah. Where are both of them now?
Well,
nowhere.
Malik Willis backing up Jordan Love.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But point being, Baker Mayfield, patience, time, and now look what he's doing. Same thing with Mac Jones. And
yeah, exactly.
And I want to just take a step back, even though, no, I don't think the fact that Jones was still hurting in a regular week's time to the point where he couldn't throw a football at practice. No, I don't think that I don't think that gives him a favorable, I guess you could say, circumstance going into Sunday's game. But the fact, I was just thinking back on it, the fact that this dude, what he did on Thursday night, dry heaving, eating 3 bananas just to not cramp up, all the things he was doing to get back on the football field.
Seeing a dead body before the game.
Seeing a dead body before the game.
By the way,
which he did
ask Kyle about that one. I put him in an awkward situation.
How'd you ask him that?
At the very end of the interview, I was like, so have you ever had a quarterback see a dead body before a game? And he goes, no. No, that was disturbing. And I saw from my balcony at the hotel something going on as well. And Mac told me he saw the whole thing. And yeah, crazy situation. I'm like, yeah, weird. Anyway, all right, Kyle, see you next week.
Jesus, man. You couldn't frame it a better way. Have you ever had a quarterback see a dead body before?
I thought it was, kind of, alleviating the severity of the whole, not the tension, but just kind of bring levity the whole thing.
Wow. You felt like that was you felt like the dead body in Marina Del Rey was the elephant in the Santa Clara facility.
Yeah.
Felt like that was the thing that was hovering over that needed to be talked
about. Hey, man, I'm just trying to do my best on the radio. If Tom Tolbert was still hosting the show, that'd be the first question you ask Kyle.
But it really is, like, I don't think Mac Jones is alone in being the type that would do all these things just to get back out onto the football field. Like, he was talking about toughness during his press conference this week, and he's just like, it's football, man. You just try and do whatever you can to go out and play. And it's just insane what we see some of these professional football players doing and college football players doing. I just don't think we give it enough credit. Like, I don't think we can. Like, just as normal human beings who have never played the game at that level, like, I just don't think we can really empathize. And I'm almost like, it's almost annoying when people tell me, like, you don't know what he's going through. Like, how you got to credit him for that. You got to give him it for his toughness. I'm like, you don't know how he's feeling either. And it's crazy because none of us can feel how he was feeling. All we could do is see it. And it's like, my God, that guy looks like he is a walking dead body right now.
Yeah.
Like, had they had to go another drive, potentially, I don't think Mac Jones would have been able to play.
No.
Like, I think he would have
he would have gotten it out,
but his legs would have given out or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what, like, it's insane what these guys do, putting their bodies on the line.
Yeah.
More so than, say, like a DeMar DeRozan, who talked about how he puts his life on the line every single time that he steps onto the basketball court in relation to some question about Drake and the Raptors. Really weird.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, whatever Mac Jones needs this week, whether it's bananas or pickle juice, he'll be good to go, I think, because they preserved his body to not throw on Thursday, and then he threw yesterday. So he's
Like
going to
a
gut it
mummy.
out. Just the key in this, let's say again.
Like a mummy.
Well, the key in this game is going to be, can he stand upright? Like, if the Buccaneers, they don't have a great pass rush. They got Yaya Adabi and Hassan Reddick. But if he gets beat up in this game, I don't know how long he'll last, especially in that humidity. So that's the key for me. But the Niners and Buccaneers are very similar teams in that they're banged up. They persevere. They win close games. It's just the 49ers have been banged up at more crucial positions at quarterback and their star pass rusher, Nick Bosa. We'll get to that game a little later to pick it. Let's talk about some older head coaches.
Okay.
Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick. Belichick, 73 years old. Pete Carroll, 74. Both are going through some changes as older men and trying to change some franchises and programs, and it's not going well right now. For Bill Belichick, it's a whole thing where there's a report coming from Ollie Connolly from The Guardian, and he had this report, I believe, on Wednesday, whatever day it was. Belichick has discussed buyout options with North Carolina's hierarchy. He has signaled a willingness to trigger his $1 million buyout if he can find a soft landing spot with another team or media. Belichick's communication with his staff in the past 2 weeks has been described as weird and distant by multiple members of UNC's coaching staff. Multiple coaches were unable to get a hold of him during the bye week. From one defensive assistant coach, what we've done to these kids is completely fucked up. Statement from Bill Belichick: I'm fully committed to UNC football and the program we're building here. Statement from UNC: Coach Belichick has full support of the Department of Athletics and University. Basically, some basic stuff from them. Belichick, I guess, or not Belichick, but Diana Rossini again spoke to somebody from North Carolina, and there's no implication that he wants to leave anytime soon. He wants to build something there. I don't know what to believe at this point. The bottom line is Bill Belichick is not having the same success that he had in the past with the New England Patriots. Just like Pete Carroll is not having the same success that he had with the Seahawks, he's having right now with the Raiders. I don't know if there's a correlation there. I know I'm doing this just because they're older coaches and they're not doing well right now. Bottom line is, I don't think what's going on right now should diminish what they've done in the past. I know that we've had the conversation in the past, Stephen, about is what's going on right now with Belichick diminishing his legacy. What does that really mean? Like, as far as how we talk about him, as far as like the Brady and Belichick comparison, at the end of the day, is he going to the Hall of Fame? Yes or no?
Pro football, yeah.
Of course. So
college football, no.
Well, yeah, but you know what? Who gives a shit? At the end of the day, like, what he's accomplished in the NFL, that will not be tarnished.
People who have made the College Football Hall of Fame, but not the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's who.
I know, but I don't think. Did you really think that Belichick was going to go to the College Football Hall of Fame?
Never know.
Bottom line is, I just think that even though these guys are going through tough times, I don't think it's going to diminish their legacy. I think that Pete Carroll, when it's all said and done, will be a Hall of Fame coach as well for what he's accomplished in the NFL, not to mention what he did at USC as a collegiate head coach. But yeah, I am wondering if both of these guys are past their prime, if it's just not the same way of going about coaching that
They've been past their prime, Derek. They have been past their prime.
Well, to be honest, even when we saw Pete Carroll hired as Raiders coach, I was like, okay, maybe he's going to instill a new mentality in this organization that Mike Vrabel's doing right now with the Patriots. I'm not saying he was going to win a Super Bowl by any means, but I thought that they were going to change direction, going to be respectable. Same thing with Belichick. I didn't expect them to, contend for the national championship this season, but I thought that they were going to, compete. And so far they've beaten Richmond and Charlotte, and they've gotten their ass kicked by TCU, UCF, and Clemson last week.
And soon Cal.
And soon, well, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, to me, it seems like the way that they went about coaching in the past is not effective these days. Like, I don't know what it is. We're seeing it in baseball right now where you may need to go younger. That's why I think Buster Posey didn't go back to Bruce Bochy. It might be Nick Hundley from all the reports. It's better to go younger with, when you're playing in professional football or basketball or baseball, it may be better to have a coach that's closer in age that you can relate to. So what was effective in the past for Bill Belichick to win 7 Super Bowls or 6 Super Bowls, and for Pete Carroll to win, 1 but go to multiple with the Seahawks, it's just not the way that is going to resonate with younger players these days.
No, probably not. And I really can't speak to anything with Bill Belichick. And ultimately, what I think how people are going to remember this, they're not. They're going to forget about this.
Yeah,
this is going to be something that goes away, blows away when talking about Bill Belichick's career. Because who cares? I don't think anyone cares about UNC football that much anyway. It is a basketball school. I think people cared for a bit. And then they saw that Monday Night Football matchup against TCU and said, okay, I don't care about UNC. Like, I don't think that enough people care about North Carolina football to care about Bill Belichick's time there, and to put this as like a career blemish that makes him any lesser of what he was in the NFL. I think people are just going to forget about this thing. I think more what it's going to be known for with Belichick is not so much his coaching career, but more just like, what the hell was he doing with this Jordan Hudson? Because clearly something's been off.
Yeah.
This is like the 3rd time he's had to make a statement of some sort.
Yeah, and the fact that he's coming across as this curmudgeon in college football, like, I don't think anything was going to change. He was going to be this happy-go-lucky guy because he's coaching, younger players now.
Yeah.
But it comes across crusty and bitter when you're not allowing New England Patriots scouts to attend your practices.
Yeah.
And you're basically being distant to your coaching staff. But with a bunch of guys that are not used to that, like if it's Bill O'Brien and Josh McDaniels and these guys that knew Belichick and had success with him, then it's a different deal.
Yeah.
Freddie Kitchens has never coached with Bill Belichick before. There's a lot of guys that are like, well, this is weird. What the hell's going on here?
Well, and the thing with like Pete Carroll, I think the Raiders have built up such a reputation for themselves that Pete Carroll's it's not going to be put on Pete Carroll what's happening. It's the Raiders that are to blame. It's the organization.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like we're getting a lot of that. We're getting a lot of questions. Why do these guys who, I don't know, took a Seahawks team to the playoffs when they were both the head coach and the quarterback, even though they ended up losing to the 49ers that year, what happened to them when they just become Raiders, then all of a sudden just look like shells of themselves? I think people are going to look at Pete's time with the Raiders as more of an indictment on the Raiders or as an organization rather than the job Pete Carroll's doing, if that makes any sense.
No, I agree with you. I just think that I'm not ready to say that's going to happen yet just because it's year 1 and they're 1-4. Like, this is still a learning year, an evaluation season for Pete Carroll, even though they changed the roster. And I thought that they had a competitive roster, not one that was going to compete for the division by any means, but maybe a playoff spot. The fact that they're 1-4, it's a lot of reasons. They did not really construct the offensive line very well. They did not think of what was best for Ashton Genty. They thought he was just going to be that same guy from Boise State. And Geno Smith doesn't have the same complement of receivers that he had in Seattle. Like, Geno was playing with first team or second team All-Pro and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, who's been a consummate pro for his entire career. And now he's playing with the likes of Trey Tucker, who's a good wide receiver, but not a great wide receiver. Brock Bowers has been hurt. His offensive line's not blocking for him. Yeah, I think you could blame Pete for the way this team has been constructed, but I don't know if I could blame it for anything like in game. Like, maybe I didn't like the fact that he kicked that field goal when they were down 40-3, but I don't know. It's just a wake-up call that this team is so far behind once again that it's going to take another quote-unquote rebuild. But I don't know. I still disagree with that because you traded for Geno Smith, and even Derek Carr is talking about this. You get the clip, Steven? Now Derek has got this podcast with his brother David Carr. It's called Homegrown with David and Derek, and we'll see if Derek Carr comes back to the NFL, but he's not bad on these things, whether it's the pregame show for YouTube for the first game of the season with the Chargers and Chiefs, or it's this podcast with his brother. But, it's kind of funny that Derek's the guy that's going to give words of wisdom to Geno Smith when he's been dragged through the mud as well with Raider fan base.
Okay, Raider fans, I understand the frustration. Look, you've been frustrated at me before. All right. I understand. I've been there. Okay. But
his Southern accent from Bakersfield, man, it's too much.
I know.
I understand you, Geno. I understand. Raider fans, I've been there. It's like, dude, you don't need to put on this accent. Anyway.
Oh, but hold on. Count the times he says, all right.
All right.
Let me say this to Geno Smith. Geno, I understand the frustration. I understand the tip ball. It's like, what? Really? A tip ball that gets picked? Really? Like, I understand the heart, the boiling. I understand. But guess what, Geno? You're a good football player. Ooh. All right? Don't forget how well you played in some of these games. Don't forget some of these throws.
In what games, though? He's played good in one game. He hasn't played well in some of these games. It's been one.
He's talking about a Seahawks career.
Oh, yeah. In some of these games.
You've made. All right. And here's the most beautiful part about it all. On Wednesday, they put that ball down and you practice again. On Thursday, they put the ball down. On Friday, they put it down. On Saturday, they may put a ball down or a tennis ball, but you're doing a walkthrough. And on Sunday, most importantly,
he's also got the hand motions of Gruden just down pat. Maybe not the voice, but the hand motions.
He's a cocktail of a lot of different people.
He is.
I'll explain after he's done talking.
All right. They're putting that ball down, and you get to go out there and lead that football team again. And guess what? Nobody believes in you more than me. All right. I believe in you. I know the type of player you are.
That's really not good if he's like the one that believes in him more than anyone else. Like, you're on a podcast, Derek. He's great. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's awesome at these things. But if you're just saying that, then fine. It's just a phrase. It's just
I believe in you. All right.
I'm the one that believes in you more than your coach, your quarterback's coach, your team. I believe in you more than anyone else.
And I always said this when I was the Raiders quarterback. I will never be the Raiders quarterback that leaves and Bass is the one that's playing. I'm telling you right now that I believe in you. I believe in you. I know that you can do it. I hope that you turn the season around for the team and for yourself, the frustrations that you're feeling, and those emotions change to joy and excitement and all those things that we felt leading into the season. And I hope that you do it not only for yourself, not only for your teammates, but for Raider Nation. All right? Because they're going to snap that ball and they're going to put it in your hands. And what a joyful occasion when your back's up against the wall and you're taking punches like Rocky. My goodness, did he get beat up in those movies? All right. You're taking these punches.
My goodness.
But guess what? You get to fight back. And I can't wait to see your response. Man, I'm praying for you. I'm believing in you. Geno, you got this, man. All right. Raider Nation, he's got our back. He's our quarterback. I can't wait to see you play, man. I'm excited for it. Go ball out, man. They're going to put that ball down, Gino. They're going to put it down, and I can't wait to see what you do with it.
Okay. I wish he broke this down like an analyst instead of like being more preacher and like, believe in yourself. I believe in you. He's equal parts John Gruden. He's a little Bill Romanowski with, guess what?
Yeah,
he's a little McConaughey. He's kind of like McConaughey. He was like, okay, hey, you know what the best thing about practice is, man? They put that ball down and you get to start all over again, brand new. Whoo, it's gone, like Pixie dust, just in the ether. All right, it's gone, baby.
Fairy dust never existed. It's never there. It's Fugazi. It's a Wazi. It's a weep.
Exactly. And I like that Derek is speaking for Raider Nation. And, I disagree with this, but like Raider Nation does not, they don't really relate to Derek Carr anymore.
Derek, I hate that I'm going to say this. And this was my response to that. You know what? Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Does Raider Nation exist anymore?
Our Raider Nation, the one that we grew up with in the black hole.
I'll give Carr the benefit of the doubt in that he understands it. Max Crosby understands it.
Yeah.
The rest of the Raider players who didn't join the Raiders when they were in Oakland, Colton Miller understands it. They're not going to understand what Raider Nation was really like.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but when you don't have a stadium, if it's such a strong fan base and you can't fill out a stadium to where there's at least specks of the other team's colors instead of it literally being half of whatever the other team's colors are, I'm sorry, but that nation is not as strong as it used to be. And I don't think Gino has a true understanding of Raider Nation. Like, I think Carr does.
Yeah.
Because he played for it when they were in Oakland. Like, that's when Raider Nation was Raider Nation. I just don't believe that Raider Nation exists as strong as it once did.
It's a nation divided, Stephen. It's not it's not present at Allegiant Stadium, but it's across the country.
Yeah.
It's here in Oakland. It's other places. It's definitely in LA. It's not in Las Vegas the way it used to be. But no matter where you are, if you're in Las Vegas, if you're in Oakland, if you're in Los Angeles, I don't think the Raider Nation claims Derek Carr like he thinks, they do.
I think they do.
I hope there's a day where Derek Carr comes back and he lights the torch for Al Davis, but for a guy he never met before. But it's funny when he's saying all these things. I can't imagine Geno Smith like watching that and just being like, "Oh, well, if Derek Carr believes in me, I'm sure Geno's like, man, I was in the league way before you. You don't need to tell me anything. Like, believe me, I know what needs to happen. You play with a shitty offensive line. I'm playing with a shitty offensive line right now. They need a block for me." That's his reaction.
Aren't they, what is he, like a year older than Carr, or a year older than Carr is?
A couple years older. He was drafted in 2012 and Carr was drafted 2014.
Carr is 34. He's 34. We're the other age that we're looking at here. Yeah, Geno's 35.
Yeah. I believe in you. I believe in you, Geno.
That's great. But yeah, the whole Raider Nation thing, it's just when I see a stadium that is packed with the bright red of the Kansas City Chiefs, or we didn't really see it against the Colts, but I don't know. Like, I don't even remember who they played at home this season because those games have been so damn
Chargers.
forgettable. I mean, the Chargers don't have a real fan base.
No, they don't.
Really. I mean, that's
Bears.
what it is now. That's what it is. Actually, I don't want to say that because there's really just like no fan base except for like Evan Giddings and the Giddings family. But that's it.
No, I went to a Chargers game. They,
Dude, those two are diehards, by the way. If you get Evan and his brother going on Charger football, like it's nonstop. When Evan came on this podcast, he was actually really happy because we asked him some Chargers questions, and he's just like, "Got people interested. I got it. People asking me about."
He never gets to talk about it. Yeah, no, I went to a Chargers game. They paid for who's it, Jerry Connolly to be there? Coop from Jerry Maguire, big Charger guy.
Yeah, but point being, it's just like the whole like Raider Nation thing. it rubs me in a different way now.
Well, it still exists, Steven. I just don't think it's that strong as it used to be because people were pissed off about the move.
Yeah, and it makes total sense. But it's just Carr, I don't think maybe he does, but Carr's got to understand, like, this isn't the same Raider Nation that you're talking for right now.
That's not the main point. What he's trying to say. He's trying to motivate Geno Smith. And I like the fact, like, I don't know why he would think this way, but I like the fact he's like, I'm never going to be the Raider quarterback that left the Raiders and bashes the next guy.
He never was, but there also was never a next guy, really.
No,
when he was there.
No, I mean, they try to replace him with Jimmy Garoppolo and Gardner Minshew, and now Geno Smith, and it hasn't worked out. Yeah, that's nice of Derek to do, but I would prefer him go to the clicker and go through the X's and O's of why Geno Smith is not playing well.
That's another thing. Very classy response, Derek. How about you show us some tape, though?
Exactly.
Like, why did he miss this open receiver? Why are they blaming the coach and Geno? Why does it sound like they're subliminally blaming their rookie wide receiver on an interception when really it was Geno's fault?
Exactly.
Why isn't the offensive line blocking for you the way that it should? Hey, when the offensive line has this tell, maybe do this so you can alleviate some of the pressure. I don't know, because he's really good at breaking down film. Well, we've only seen that one clip, really, and that was from that YouTube game in Brazil.
Yeah. But I don't need Derek Carr to be Michael Irvin, which Irvin's going on a tear lately. Good Lord.
Hey, oh, come on. Can we pray a little bit of that?
Yeah, that's fine. Just real quick. Like,
yeah,
I don't want Derek Carr to be a preacher when he's doing this, and naturally he's going to be that way. I'd rather him just break it down. Show me why Geno Smith is not playing well. Also, Steven, you brought it up briefly. Did Geno Smith throw Dante Thornton under the bus this week with saying like he doesn't understand certain coverages and whatnot?
No, him and Pete Carroll kind of did, yeah. Like they didn't say
he's young, but yeah.
They essentially said they don't blame that interception on him.
The tip ball?
Not the tip ball. The tip ball's fine. Like, that's not Geno's fault. It was the other. It was another one.
Oh, the other one that almost went for the pick six?
Yeah. There's so many to choose from.
What, with Michael Irvin?
No, so many interceptions.
Oh, well, from. Yeah. Well, you can pick Michael Irvin clips too, where did you see the one with Up at Smoke?
I didn't see that.
He's talking about Ronnie Lott, and people are like, were you scared when Ronnie Lott would line up against you? He's like, hell yeah, that motherfucker cut off his pinky. What? And you think I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm not scared to go up against that guy? It's a different man. All right, this is Michael Irvin. What was this? This is someone was calling him out, saying that wide receivers from the 90s were not as tough.
No. So this is a thing. This is in response to some podcast called Facts Over Feelings. And again, the name is Facts Over Feelings.
Okay.
And they are saying that Deion Sanders couldn't cover the wide receivers today in today's day. And I'm saying, you are saying feelings over facts. That is not a fact.
It's not a fact at all.
It's
an opinion.
That's literally the most opinion of opinions. So if you're going to have your podcast title, if we were just your facts man, then we would just be giving facts. Like, at least we put it in the title. Like, this is just our opinion, man. It's layered. But facts over feelings, you're putting feelings over facts. And if you can't tell by Michael Irvin's face, you did something to his feelings. All right, here we go.
Get the out of my face talking noise until you know what you're talking about. I will dominate this era of football.
Oh, and he also used a picture of Michael Irvin and Jerry Rice as an example in that podcast clip, talking about wide receivers compared to yesteryear.
Dominate. Keep my name and my image. Don't try to shit on my work when I won championships on every level. On every level. When they can knock me out. I call passes in the midst of pain. Y'all don't do that. Y'all ain't never had to do that. So shut the hell up. Get the
yeah.
We lose the recipes.
I call passes in the midst of pain.
Look at him trying to also flex his muscles while he's getting angry. God, dude. I don't blame him for being upset with that. You're denigrating what he did in the past, and Michael Irvin's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, I have no issue with that one.
It's why I don't like. It's why I've never been a huge fan of the comparing the stars of now to the ones from before, or whether the stars from before would compete now. I just, you're in different eras, man. Like this is, it's all contemporary. Like it's fun to have a discussion, but the thing is you are never going to be right. You are never going to be right. You're never going to get proven right because
massive hypotheticals.
All you could do is maybe simulate it on a basketball game, which was a cool little thing we did at 95.7 when trying to compare the 2017, 2018 Warriors to like the 96 Bulls or whatever it is. And the Warriors
with my pops and St. Lee on the call.
Yes. I mean, it's a fun little thing you could do, but you're never going to truly come to a definition. And maybe that's the beauty of it. Maybe it's because it's just always going to be a conversation. But just a reminder, when you do talk about players of that era from before and also the players from now, you're probably going to get a reaction like that one.
Yes, absolutely.
God, I know he's had some, blemishes in his off the field past, but my God, can I hear Michael Irvin just talk all day? Like I told you, if that Cowboys documentary was nothing but just Michael Irvin telling the story of the 90s Cowboys and no one else was a talking head in that documentary, would have been totally fine.
Well, you don't like Bill Romanowski talking about Charles Haley whipping out his dick and pissing on Carm Policy's desk?
How did they approach Romo when that was the subject? Hey, Romanowski, do you want to come talk about what might have been the start of you turning into a wildly insane football player? Do you want to talk about the traumas of your past?
Oh, well, to him, it's not trauma. And he also hates Charles Haley, so he doesn't mind telling that story.
Right. Yeah.
All right, should we pick a little games?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's do a little something we call wins or wings. All right, Steven. I have one measly point from our picks on Thursday. We both picked the Eagles. We both took the points, but I took the over. You took the under, so I'm ahead of you with just 1 point. Let's start with merry old London as the Denver Broncos take on the New York Jets. The Broncos are 7.5-point favorites. Over under 43.5.
Hang on, I'm sorry. I got a text from Jesse, and I want to make sure that I get my picks correct here. Yeah, I got the Broncos winning, but I got the Jets covering. How about that?
All right. You going over under, though?
Over.
I'm going under, but I'm with you, Steven. I think these London games are weird. And, yeah, I'm taking the Broncos to win this game, but I got the Jets covering. We'll cover. Maybe not backdoor. Maybe the Broncos have to come back to actually win this game.
A little backdoor action.
Yeah.
We had the Broncos and Jets. What is the Broncos? Is that a little Aussie?
All right. Then we got the Cowboys going to Carolina to take on the Panthers. The Cowboys are 3-point favorites, over under 49.5.
God, the Panthers, like, I was watching their mic'd up segment, by the way. Shane Steichen, all-time mic'd up coach. I could mic him up every week, and that'd be hilarious because his reactions are just so funny.
I don't think I've ever heard him speak.
Yeah. I'll play the video for you later because I think it's copyright issues every time we post it.
Yeah,
unfortunately. The Panthers, like, they had Bryce Young on there, and it's crazy how small he is compared to everyone else, and they still managed to pull off the win last week. But I think the Cowboys have just been playing some really good football, so I'll lay the points with the Cowboys. But I will take the over because I think the Panthers can score some points. Maybe they can again with Rico Dowdle. A little revenge?
Little revenge game from Dowdle, but I'm going with you exactly. I'm going with the Cowboys to win this game. I'm laying the points, and I'm going over. I think that Brian Schottenheimer's doing a really good job as their head coach right now. Defensively, they're not great, but yeah, I think the Cowboys do enough to win this game, and offensively, they're doing pretty well without CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott off to a really good start to the season. By the way, I was watching the highlights of the Panthers-Dolphins game. I know you love this guy. Eric Collins, the play-by-play voice of the Charlotte Hornets, is going to be on NBA games this year for NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Little too much on football for me.
Yeah, of course it is.
Why is it a course?
Because you don't like anything. You just
it's just a little much. Like every play was like Waller open for a 15-yard gain.
Yeah. Build it up. Build it up into something that it's
You don't
not.
need to scream for every play.
Listen, man, I think you do. It was funny last night listening to Adam Amin, who's more of a football guy, calling games where AJ Przitsky and And Adam Wainwright are just like, well, that might be a slider. Why are they throwing so many sliders? I can't get it in my head why there are so many sliders being thrown. Here's another one. I'm sorry. You can't be throwing that many sliders.
What are they, Don Knotts? Why are there so many sliders? There's too many ostriches.
That was my AJ Przenski impression, and that one was in foul territory.
Ooh. Well, the Adam Amin last night, that called for the moment for him to be excited. I thought Eric Collins, like every play, was like, Rick O'Dowdle, oh my God!
Yeah, I love it.
A little too much.
No, it's
All
not.
right, moving on. The Arizona Cardinals go to Indianapolis. Kyler Murray is questionable, true questionable, game time decision. The Colts are 7-point favorites, over under 47.5.
Play the points with Indy, and I'll take the under.
I'm going over on this game, and you're going under. I am taking Indy, and I'm laying the points. I think that the Cardinals should be, coming back with a vengeance after what happened last week, but the Colts are just a better football team. So take the Colts, lay the points, going over while Steven's going under. Then we got a couple of talking New England at New Orleans with the Patriots 3.5-point favorites, over under 46.
Good Lord, where is that on my list? Where'd it go? There we are. What the fuck was my thought here?
That's a great quote. The fuck was my thought here? Fuck was I thinking?
I'll take the Saints to cover, but the Pats to win.
All
Because
right.
I guess my feeling was that Spencer Rattler actually has been playing okay. I think he's been playing better than what the win-loss record says. So I think I have the Saints covering, Patriots winning, and I'll take the over.
I'm going under on the 46. Give me the Patriots to win, lay the points. Then we got the Cleveland Browns going to Pittsburgh, take on the Steelers. Dylan Gabriel, your quarterback for now, and Shador the rest of the way. Finally, he's the backup quarterback. We can sleep at night. And the Steelers are 5.5-point favorites, over under 38.5.
Yeah, I'll take the Browns to cover on that one. I'll have the Steelers winning. I was going to lay the points with the Steelers, but considering that line moved, I think the Browns can actually cover that. I don't know why I have that in my mind, but I do. So I'll have the Browns covering that. I'll have the Steelers winning, and I'll just take the under just because it's a Steelers game.
I'm taking the under as well with both of these defenses, and I think that Dylan Gabriel was not really aggressive in his first game, just trying not to throw an interception. This time around, he might fumble the ball. He might throw some picks. You might see some people on First Take the next day saying, it's time for Shador. But I'm going with Pittsburgh to win this game. Lay the points. Give me the under. Then we got the Ravens going to Baltimore with no Lamar Jackson once again, and the Ravens' defense is pretty banged up. The Rams are 7-point favorites, over under 44.5.
Yeah, God, the Ravens at home with that type of point spread, I'd be inclined to take them, but they've just been playing just some bad football. So I'll just lay the points with the Rams and with some little extended time off, and I'll take the over.
I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm starting Matthew Stafford over Jordan Love, everybody. Take that in consideration. I think that Matthew Stafford, given the way he's lining it up right now, and the Ravens' defense just being putrid, I think he puts up a lot of points. The Rams could score in the 40s here. Yeah, give me the Rams, lay the points, going over. Then we got a battle of QBs that were drafted in 2020. We got Justin Herbert and the Chargers going to Miami to take on Tua Tagovailoa. The Chargers are 4.5-point favorites, but pretty banged up right now with their running backs and their offensive line. The over-under is 43.5.
Against my better judgment, I'm going to take the Dolphins to win. How about that? Taking the Dolphins to win at home, and I'll take the over.
Steven, misery loves company. You and I are on the same page here. I'm going with the Dolphins to win this game. I think that for whatever reason, Justin Herbert, of course, is the better quarterback over Tua, but he has his struggles against Miami. So I'm taking the Dolphins to win. I think that offensive line is just banged up right now. I think they get no running game. I think it's going to be a game where if they were to win, Justin Herbert has to rush and throw for them to have success in this game. So give me Miami to win. Did you go under or over?
Over.
I'm going under on the 43.5. This is a pretty good one. Not sexy for a national audience, but you got the Seattle Seahawks going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Seahawks are 1.5-point favorites, over under 47.5.
I think at some point the Jags are just going to have to stop winning. So I'll take the Seahawks to win this one, and I'll just take the over. Feels like a game that's going to go over.
You and I are simpatico once again because I think it's going to be a letdown game for the Jaguars. And yeah, Seahawks, they lose a heartbreaker to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, go on the long-ass flight to Jacksonville, but they win the game. So yeah, I got the Seahawks winning. Give me the over. Then we got the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Flacco and his huck it, chuck it football going to Green Bay, and the Packers coming off a bye are 14.5-point favorites, and the over-under is 44.5.
Well, I'll take the Bengals to cover that. I think I feel pretty good about that one. I'll have the Packers winning, but I'll also take the 44 is such a mid number. I'll just take the over. I don't know.
Yeah, I have the exact same thing as well. I think that Green Bay is good enough to win the game, but I could see Joe Flacco where this game's like 20-7 in the fourth quarter, and then Joe Flacco just throws a deep ball to Jamar Chase, and you're like, oh, 20-14. Could they win this game? And Joe Flacco has already faced the Packers this season when he was a Cleveland Brown. But yeah, I was talking about this on the radio yesterday, Steven, where I was like, I don't feel comfortable having the Packers as my pick'em team or my survivor pool team. So I'm going with them to win this game, but I'm taking the Bengals to cover. Yeah, give me the over as well. I thought about this game as my pick'em or my survivor pool as well. And it would be really ballsy of me, but then again, I know better because I've been a fan of this team for quite some time. The Tennessee Titans going to the Las Vegas Raiders, where the Raiders are 4.5-point favorites, and the over-under is 41.5.
Play the points with the Raiders. Take the over.
I'm going under, but I'm laying the points with the Raiders. They have to win this game. And I know that I've said this a lot on this podcast. I said that when they lost to the Jeff Saturday-led Colts, but I get it. The Titans won a game last week, and they're feeling high right now. The Raiders are on the lowest of the lows, and they need to find some life in this team on offense and defense. It's the perfect narrative this week where everything's going against them, and they come out and win this game. It's going to be close. I got the Raiders winning the game. I'll lay the points, but I'm going under. They have to win this game if we are serious about them changing.
Yeah.
All right. Then we got the biggest game of the weekend. The 49ers going to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Both teams 4-1. Both teams are the winner of this game could be the number one seed by the end of the weekend if the Lions lose to the Chiefs. You have the Bucs as 3.5-point favorites despite their injuries. They don't have Mike Evans. They don't have Chris Godwin. They don't have Bucky Irving. No Brock Purdy. Mac Jones is going to start tomorrow. We'll see if he finishes the game given his injuries with the oblique and knee. And no Ricky Pearsall, but it sounds like Jawan Jennings is a true game-time decision. Over under 47.5.
I'll take the over because I do think it's going to be somewhat of a shootout, but I just think the Buccaneers are playing such good football. I don't know if the 49ers can stop them. I'll lay the points with it for the Buccaneers. And I mean, I don't want to, but yeah, it's just a feeling.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Baker Mayfield 0-4 in his career against the 49ers. I think it's just a different deal where it's a longer week. And last week they went into LA, even though they had all the injuries. The Rams are still are dealing with the same thing where it's a short week. And you know, Kyle Shanahan knows the Rams coaching staff pretty well with his familiarity with Sean McVay. So they win that game. I think it's a different deal going all the way to Tampa Bay. So give me the Bucs to win. I'm going to have the 49ers cover the 3.5. I think it's a field goal game. And I'll take the over on the 47.5. And then we got the Sunday night game. We got Detroit going to Kansas City. The Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. Over under 52.5.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm going to take an over. I'm going to take the over. Like it's Mahomes and Goff. Just feels only right to take the over, considering that one game that went like over 100 in the point total.
2018 was when he was with the Rams, yeah.
I'm going to take the Lions to win, man. I just think they're that much better than the Chiefs this year.
Even though I agree with you, I'm taking the Chiefs to win. I think that with the loss to Jacksonville, you're going to see this defense play better. Not that they're going to shut down the Lions' defense, but you're going to see Chris Jones finish plays. I think that the Chiefs win this game. I'll lay the points, but I'm going under on the 52.5. And then we got the two Monday night matchups, doubleheader. You got the Buffalo Bills trying to rebound from their first loss of the season, going to Atlanta where they're 4.5-point favorites. and the over-under is 50.
Y'all lay the points with the Bills and take the over. Over.
I'm going to lay the points with the Bills as well, but I'm going under on the 50. I think that Bills defense stifles the Falcons offense. And then lastly, a rematch of a year ago where it was 2 rookie quarterbacks in Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, first and second overall picks. And of course, Jaden Daniels heaved a touchdown to Noah Brown with no time remaining to win that game. The Bears are not favorites. It's the Commanders that are 4.5-point favorites. Bears coming off a bye. Over under 49.5.
I think the Bears can cover, but I'll have the Commanders winning at home, and I will take the over.
I got the Bears flat out winning this game. From the bye week to what happened a year ago, I just think that they come in and beat the Commanders in Washington. You said over?
Yep.
I'm going under on the 49.5. And there you go. That is our picks. Oh, those are our picks for Week 6 in the NFL.
That's terrific.
Steven, you had a little opinion on the Warriors preseason?
No, we don't need to get to that. It's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It's not really that profound. It's okay.
Okay. I mean, I was told that I never give you time when you want to talk about something.
Well, I mean, no, it's not that. It's normally when we push my shit, it's because, it's
pushing your shit, huh?
Yeah, it's not that interesting. And then by the time the next week rolls around, there's already a bunch of new stuff that's happened, and my stuff is outdated. So this Warriors thing is probably going to be outdated by the time we next talk on Tuesday.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll definitely talk more Warriors as the season is upon us. We'll do that more next Saturday. Should we do a little Jackass of the Week and Pop Culture Catch-Up before we get out of here?
I got one Jackass. You're probably going to have the same one.
Go for it.
It's the Laker fan.
That's suing LeBron?
Yeah. You paid $865 before an announcement was made, thinking that it was going to be anything other than an ad. Like, JJ Redick came off a little harsh telling the media, like, if you thought that was really going to be an announcement, then you're an idiot. Anyone who saw that video of him walking to the chair across from someone who no one has ever seen in their lives. Like, it wasn't Jim Gray. It was just some random actor. And he's going to pull off the Decision 2.0. And it's already happened, by the way. It's already been a taping, and it's just going to happen tomorrow instead of live. You should have known that it was an advertisement. And if you bought $865 worth of tickets and you think LeBron is just going to pay you back because you're taking LeBron James to small claims court, as a matter of fact, it's probably going to cost you more than it's going to actually reimburse you, because all he wants is the ticket refund. So I'm sorry. I understand that you wanted to catch his potential last home game, which is against the Cavs. And that should tell you what the NBA is probably thinking of LeBron anyway. It's likely retirement is coming. Why would they schedule his former team for the Lakers' last home game of the season? I wonder why. So you should have bought tickets in advance knowing that this was going to be his last season anyway. So that guy, Jackass of the Week, you're not going to win in small claims court. Maybe LeBron can just throw like $865.66 your way. Maybe he can reimburse you then.
No. He doesn't need to do shit. Like, the easy route to me would have been just to name LeBron James Jackass of the Week for this commercial, but he does shit like this all the time. So this is not anything new. Yeah, you know what? I don't like some of the snarkiness from JJ Redick, but he's right. If you thought this was a legitimate thing where he was going to announce his retirement after this season, then you're an idiot. This was always going to be a commercial. I wonder, though, if this commercial was intentionally, made to piss people off, so we're, not as, or where some Laker fans are not as mad because of the sciatica that's going to keep him out of some games throughout the season. Nevertheless, this fan that wants money, reimbursement for, is that a word even?
Yeah.
Reimbursement for the fact that he was fooled because this was intentionally, misleading. That's bullshit. That's your own fault. You probably shouldn't spend that amount of money for a regular season basketball game at the end of the season.
I was duped. I was duped.
All right, I got it. No, you weren't duped at all. My Jackass of the Week. Do you have the clip of David Ortiz trying to pronounce the pitcher of the Yankees, Schlittler?
Hang on.
This was a fantastic moment in TV history. The fact that David Ortiz does not give a fuck.
Give me a sec.
I found this hilarious, But in this situation, there's just one killjoy. Like, everybody finds this funny. It's not anything offensive. He just said the man's name. But there's one killjoy in this clip that I could not stand.
Every single one of you pronounce his last name. You kept first.
Schlittler.
Oh, well, he's the master. Schlittler.
Schlittler.
You now your turn.
Sound like Hitler.
Oh, my God. No.
All right, let's go to a break, guys.
Cam, I'm going Cam.
You know what,
Cam.
Poppy? You just
get in trouble.
you just call him Cam.
Cam, that's it.
You just call
Leave
him
it up
Cam.
to it.
You just call him Cam, and you know
Cam.
maybe it'll be Mr. Cam, depending on how he pitches tomorrow.
It's funny. He called him Hitler. We're all thinking it. It's very inside the NBA. Like, that's something that Charles Barkley would do. Derek Jeter, have some fun with it, man. Just laugh a little bit. He's Mr. like squeaky clean. His image always has to be intact. And he just like shuffling his papers, just being like, all right, guys, let's go to break. He said Hitler. Dude, just relax a little bit. Just relax.
I actually was paying attention to Kevin Burkhardt that whole time. I didn't even notice Jeter's reaction. Here we go.
Yeah.
Schlittler.
You now your turn.
Sound like Hitler.
Oh, my God. No.
All right, let's go to a break, guys.
Cam, I'm going Cam.
You know what, Poppy? You just
get in trouble.
you just call him Cam.
Cam,
Yeah.
that's it.
You just call.
Jeter's just like, he's not even like joking there. He's just like, all right, let's go to a break, guys. Come on. What am I doing here? Relax. Relax, Jeter. Relax. Nothing's going to happen to you. Relax.
He doesn't know how to do that, though.
No, he's not a human being. He's like, he's just so he's robotic.
Well, that's how all these superstars are, though. You know.
I know.
Although a lot has come out with Jeter, just as far as like who he is as of late. He seems like he's all right, but a lot of like the things
he's
you
a
hear
good
about,
dude. He's fine, but
the things you hear about like Tom Brady, no one has anything like bad to say about him. It seems like he's become like a more human as opposed to whatever we thought he was when he was playing, because he just wouldn't give any sort of his personality to the media. Yeah,
Right.
that was a little too much.
I thought so. Okay, real quick, pop culture catch up. Anything for you, Steven?
Yeah, I told you. It's been home improvement, baby.
Home improvement.
Home improvement, baby. That's why we've been watching this last week.
Have you ever watched it as a kid?
Yeah. I used to watch it all the time.
But now you're just getting back into it.
Yeah, just like it saw that it was on Netflix, and I realized that I'd never really watched, episode after episode. It was always reruns. I didn't know like which season anything was just because of their ages. The thing that gets me though, my God, the shoe game. The shoe game on the Taylor family is unreal.
Yeah.
Fucking Jordans, Reeboks, the shoes that JTT is wearing on his feet. I wish I would have had those as a kid.
All right, fair. Never really watched Home Improvement, but people tell me, it's a good easy watch from the 90s.
Derek, let me give you a synopsis of every single episode. All right.
Go ahead.
First thing is Tim Allen does something stupid. Then he goes to his neighbor Wilson to get some sage advice.
Yes.
Then they go to Tool Time, where they do a little episode of Tool Time. Then you go back and Tim Allen just solves everything and tries to use some of that wisdom from Wilson. It never really pans out. It's actually really funny once you hear the recurring jokes. All in, dude. I love it. I haven't seen anything else except for that and Great British Bake Off.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there one episode of Home Improvement where one of the kids gets cancer?
Yeah.
It's a real downer. Good Lord.
Yeah, I think JTT won himself an Emmy for that, though.
I just remember, you ever seen the documentary on the Dana Carvey show? Dana Carvey show was this wild show they put on after Home Improvement.
Yeah. And
it was with Dana Carvey and Steve Carell and Stephen Colbert. Louis C.K. wrote on the show. Robert Smigel. Comedians, an all-star cast of comedians that were, not very well known before they came big. And they always would have a recurring sponsor every week as a joke. So there was a promo for Home Improvement where it's like, we're going to fight this thing, buddy, on a very, very emotional Home Improvement tonight. They get a family scare with cancer. That's on tonight's Home Improvement, right before the Diet Root Beer Dana Carvey show.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, real quick for my pop culture catch up. I saw the movie one battle after another with Leonardo DiCaprio and Paul Thomas Anderson's directing it, writing it as well. A lot of people in this movie: Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, Regina Hall. Is it Regina Hall from Scary Movie? Okay. This movie is not what you expect it to be. It's very profound in what it's talking about, but goofy all the while. Like, it's equal parts comedy and drama, and it deals with radical political revolutionaries and racism and immigration. But in between that, it's basically Leonardo DiCaprio as the Big Lebowski, just a stoner dude that's trying to save his daughter. And it was entertaining. It's very Tarantino-esque with its mocking of current times. Great performances from SNL legend Jim Downey is in a cameo role that had me dying. This is not like the typical Paul Thomas Anderson movie that's usually very depressing or very profound in its acting, whether it's Boogie Nights or There Will Be Blood. This was different, and I don't know if it's going to win any Academy Awards. It'll probably be up for a lot of awards, but probably the best movie I've seen this year. It was very funny. I did not expect it to be funny at all.
Hang on. You done?
Yeah, I'm done. Oh,
Okay.
you didn't want me to share anything?
No, Derek, I told you before that I tend to mute you whenever you do these kind of movie reviews because you might let a little thing slip that might be a big little spoiler in that. So as soon as you said, I thought the cast from SNL legend, then as soon as you said that, I turned off the volume on my laptop.
Sorry.
I mean, it sounded great.
No,
you're a regular, what is it? Ebert and
Siskel and Ebert.
Siskel and Ebert. What did I say? Schmeichel?
That's the writer for the Dana Carvey show, Robert Smiley.
Yeah.
And real quick, the Charlie Sheen documentary is really good. Have you watched it on Netflix yet?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty good. Like, I remember going to college and that whole time period where he was doing those interviews, the winning, and the one he did with ABC where he was like, the woman's like, are you on drugs right now, Charlie? And he's like, yeah, it's called Charlie Sheen, where if you do too much of it, you explode and your family cries over your mutilated corpse. Too much. And me and my buddies would laugh at that. And I remember going to a party and this dude was wearing a Charlie Sheen shirt that said winning. And I was like, dude, nice shirt. And he was like, yeah, man, what he's doing right now, isn't that awesome? And I was like, no, it's not awesome. It's just sad, really. And he's like, no, he's speaking for all of us. And I'm like, no, he's not. What are you talking about? And I think we're both wrong, where like it was definitely sad, but I kind of like mocked it and laughed at it, where some people were actually like motivated by him, and that's just dangerous. This documentary is pretty profound in how he looks back at that time and just his drug use. Martin Sheen's not in it. Emilio Estevez is not in it because they don't want to go back to that time. But I thought it was pretty telling of the man. Like, now, like, even though he wants the attention, he's doing a bunch of interviews these days. He really is remorseful for what he did in the past. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
I guess I have been watching like a lot of the true crime stuff on there, which was a recent one. God, I can't remember what it was called, but it was about like these two parents who had a bunch of children and ended up killing them. Pretty wild.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a laugh.
The Cromwells.
All right.
Yeah. Also watched that movie Smile for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh,
disturbing.
Scary at first. There's one part that makes you, just make sure you go to the bathroom beforehand, because there's one point where it's like, ooh, oh my God.
Pat H, I have been wondering about Task. I need to find a new show on HBO to watch, but the Chair Company is coming out this weekend. This is Tim Robinson's new show from I Think You Should Leave Now and Friendship. Have you seen Friendship yet, Steven?
Haven't seen Friendship.
It's on HBO Max now. It's cringy, but it's pretty funny. Yeah, I need to check that out. Task, I hear, is good though, with Mark Ruffalo. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I need to watch this Red River shootout that I hope doesn't turn into a rout. We'll see how close Texas can make it. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. For everybody in the chat, thanks to Pat H. Thanks to the Skills Report. Thanks to Rocket New Era. Thanks to Ernie One. Thanks to Lauren F. Thanks to Techie for a little bit of time. And I believe That is it. I say Skills. Skills always says I forget him, or other people say I forget Skills. Skills, I said your name. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday. Steven, say what you always say. Just all opinion, man. Is that Michael Irvin?